Hello, in this tutorial, AccuTrans 3D will read a ZGL file and save it as a DXF file. There are several buttons along here which control reading files, and we can also get to them from the File menu. I'll select File, Open, New. And it opens in the last directory that I was at, and I was reading 3D Studio files at that time. Now, to change to ZGL files, I'll click on this combo box and it will disappear off the screen and you won't be able to see what I'm doing, and I'm going to click on XGL ZGL is the file type I want, and it shows up here. There are none of those types of files in this folder. So now I'll go to the folder that I want to store in, and I'll click on it and double click here, and this is the file I want. I could either double click on the file or just select it, click open, and the file is now being read. Now while that's happening, it'll take a while. I'll bring this up. The computer I'm using has an Intel i7 6700 quad-core CPU running at 3.4 gigahertz. There are 64 gigabytes of RAM, and the GPU is an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 960 with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and the Windows 10 Pro 64-bit operating system is being used. And the file is still being read. Now we've popped up. Here are the number of layers that are in the file. There are 2,375. And there are quite a few programs around that will have trouble reading that many layers. And we've got over 4.2 million triangles in this model. Now, this looks like we're looking at the top view of the model, but we're actually set to be looking at the front view of the model in AccuTrans 3D. And since the AccuTrans uses the same coordinate system as most CAD files do, we're going to have to change the orientation of this model. Now first I'm just going to zoom in so you can see the model, and I'm doing that by moving the scroll wheel. And then I'm going to press the left mouse button and move the mouse, and I can rotate the model around. If I want to change the viewpoint the camera is looking at, I just position the cursor and click the middle mouse button. And so we'll come in here and we can see our model with a couple tanks and piping. And if you notice, these tanks look very smooth, and that's due to vertex normals being supplied to the meshes, and these vertex normals won't transfer over to a DXF file, so it will look much flatter. Now, to change the orientation of the model, I can either press this Adjust Object button or go to the Tools 1 menu and select Adjust Object, which allows us to mirror, rotate, scale, and translate the model. Now, any operations that happen using these controls changes the internal database, and there is no undo function. Now, to rotate the model so it will be positioned correctly, I have two choices. I can rotate about the midpoint of the object or rotate about the origin, and I'll select rotate about the origin. And there was a slight change as the program adjusted to this setting. And for the orientation of the model around the three axes, we can see how much we're orientated here. Now I want to do a minus 90 degree rotation around the x-axis. So I'll click this button, and now the calculations are being done, and you can see the model flipped and it's orientated differently, and we still have the same values down here. Now I'll click this button so we're looking at the front view of the model, and this is what we need with the model standing upright. So now I'm going to click the OK button. And now, because we orientated the model, it's going to disappear off the screen because the camera is no longer looking at the same location on the model. So I'll just press this camera reset button, the calculations are redone, and here's our model sitting upright. Now, many programs will not be able to read a DXF file with 2,375 layers in. So what I'm going to do is I can click the Merge Same button, or go to Tools 1 and select Merge Layers with Same Materials, and I'll click that. I'm asked if I want to really do this. Yes. And now the layers with the same materials, and in this case same colors, will all be merged into the same layer, and we'll get many fewer layers showing up here. And here are our new layers, and there's only 13 of them. Now, layers got merged together because they had the same color on, which shouldn't have been merged together. Now, when the person that first created the file, if he would have used more unique colors for how the layers should have been merged, there would have been more layers here, and we wouldn't have had things merged together. Now, to save the DXF file, I have 3 buttons that work for saving, and they're also found by the file from the File menu. And I'm going to select File, Save with Options to open up a dialog box, and I'll move this dialog box into the capture area. And in this, from this, you can select which type of file we want to save to, and we want to save to DXF file, so we'll select that. And for some file formats, an extra window will appear over here, and we'll click on it, and this gives us all the output parameters that we have to set for a DXF file. And we want to output as 3D faces, and we want to output tables, blocks, and entities, and we want carriage return set to with both line feed on for Microsoft style files. And over here we can set the scale factor we want to use when outputting the model, and as the model is already in meters that we want, I'll leave the scale factor set to 1. And these are other parameters that we can set. This sign up here appears when there are vertex normals on the model, and if there were vertex normals that could be output to a DXF file, I would have been given a checkbox down here where I could have selected or not selected to output them to the file. So now I'll click the Save button, and a standard Windows dialog box opens, and I don't want to save in this file, so in this folder, so I'll click on this PC, come down here, and select this drive and this folder, and there are no DXF files in it, and I'll say okay, save, and the model is now being saved. It takes a little while, and there we are, we're completed. And now I'll just click no, and I'll close down. Okay, I still have my model here. I can bring it in. There's still our smooth tanks. Now AccuTrans has 12 different work areas, and I'm just going to select another one of those, and now I'm going to click open, and we're set. This is the folder we're in where the ZGL file is in, and I'm going to click here and select DXF files, and there's the DXF file that we just saved to the folder that had the ZGL file, and I'll click on that, click on open, and now the DXF file is loading in. And down here we're seeing how much of the file is left to be read. Okay, 100% of the file is read, and now all the data is being organized, and there's saying how many vertices, edges, and triangles we have in the model. The layers will appear here shortly, followed by our model in the view window. Okay, there's our model, and it's sitting upright. So I'll take and I'll zoom in, and let's go back to the tanks. And you can see now they don't look as smooth as they did when they came from the ZGL file. And we can go back to where the ZGL file is. It takes a few seconds as the OpenGL is updated, and so here's our smooth tanks. So that's the end of this tutorial, and that's all you have to do to read a ZGL file and save it as a DXF file. Goodbye.